Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, welcome back. This is your Moray, Dr. Yeshua, and we are still in Psalm 40. Just completed verses 1 and 2, partially, part of 2. Well, didn't complete verse 2 yet, but we're still dealing with verse 2. And we're talking about the song of deliverance. A song of deliverance. My brothers and sisters, we see how David started out by saying that, you know, YAHUAH waited patiently. He waited patiently. And, you know, he cried out to YAHUAH. You know, what I think about as we wait patiently for YAHUAH, YAHUAH is waiting patiently for us. And when we cry to him, my brothers and sisters, we can always know that he inclined to us and he hears our cry. And then in verse 2 he said, brought me up also out of a horrible pit. So we look at the word pit here. Pit is a Hebrew word in verse 2. As we started in the last session, and verse 2 we didn't complete it. But look at the word pit here. Because pit is the word bore. Beit, Vav, and Resh. And what the word here is, bore is a cistern. A cistern. A pit is a cistern. You know, remember talking about a little bit the fact that when you fall down into this pit, a cistern, it's not something where you can just step down in it and step out. That's not the kind of cistern. You have some cistern that, you know, just flowing with water. And you can, you know, some people put little coins and wish. You know, they call it wish coin. They put pennies or sometimes quarters and all that kind of stuff in it. The water, the cistern is pouring water coming up. It's built specifically to have water flowing, right? Water flowing into the, like a bucket. So water flowing, you have a spout of water coming out, falling in there, and then the water going out and coming in. Okay, so it's constantly running, okay? As long as there's water, right? And so this cistern here, the Hebrew word is bore, and it is a pit, and it's referred to as a cistern or a well, okay? And sometimes it is referred to as a dungeon. Okay, a dungeon. The dungeon is kind of a, you know, worse part of it. Because in the dungeon, you have all kind of stuff in it. It's not clean. It's messy. One of the things that they used to do, one of the kings, even the kings of Israel, when they didn't like what the prophet was teaching them, they would take them, and that was a jail for them. Put them in the dungeon. And it's like putting them to die. And they were on the mercies of the family members and friends. They took Jeremiah. They tried to shut Jeremiah up when he was preaching and teaching what YAHUAH said, what would happen to Israel if they didn't change. Okay, when our ancestors sinned. And so what happened? They would take him and they put him in the dungeon. And who came to his rescue? Baruch, the scribe. Okay? Took him up. But listen, while he was in the dungeon, he did not shut his mouth either. He was in the dungeon, and my brother and sister, even though it was in a horrible place, like David is saying here, a horrible pit. Jeremiah was doing the preaching and teaching, and he said, I feel like a fire in my bones, you know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It just come to my mind when Paul and Silas and all them were in jail. You know, in the Philippian jail, right? At midnight they were singing and shouting and praising YAHUAH, right? And can you imagine? The angel of YAHUAH, the Malak, they went, and what did they do? They released them. They were still there. They did not run out. They were still there. They were still there praising. And when this jailer got up and heard all that singing and all that joyful sound, they're saying, man, oh my God, he said, the jail, they're gone. And then when he got up, he said, no, I might as well kill myself because they're going to kill me anyhow. When they heard that I let the prisoners escape, they're gonna, my life is ended. And they said, no, don't do yourself any harm. We're still here. Oh, praise be to YAHUAH. My brothers and sisters, the enemy will say, yeah, go and kill yourself. We don't care. But here, these were men called out and are showing the mighty power of YAHUAH. Don't do yourself any harm. We are still here. Praise be to his holy name. Praise be to his name. And so, here we see then that in the last session we talk about the cistern, the dungeon, the fountain, the pit, this well, bore. It has in a sense of, you know, is a pit pole, or, you know, one used as a cistern or a prison. Okay? That's what the dungeon is, a pit. That's what they use for. That's where they put the prisoners. They can't escape. They can't sit down there and they could die unless somebody go to the rescue and give them bread and water. And that was the food of the day. It wasn't like today where you have the executive prison over here. You know, the executive go to this prison, and then the regular people go to that prison. No, there's one prison for everybody. Okay? And what your food was? Bread and water. You can survive on it. Bread and water. And so, this well, this pit, you know, was something that was set up. It was set up for those who they want to put in jail. Not, can you imagine? They didn't have color TV. You couldn't tell the jail master or the warden or whatever it's called today. You couldn't tell him, look, I don't eat this and I don't eat that. They're going to give you bread and water. You didn't have a choice. If you didn't want bread, you get water. If you didn't want water, you get bread. If you didn't want nothing, that's your trouble. A matter of fact, put it down there, and the rats and rodents that were down there with you, they would have it. And sometimes somebody, like in Jeremiah's case, he would give it to them, give it to the rats, and because of the rats, if the rodent, if they're filled up, the insect, they're filled up with the bread and water, then they won't come to bother you, you know, they won't eat your flesh. But some of those rats didn't care. They get used to human flesh. They're coming to bite upon you and get your blood, and, you know, this was how it was. So it was not easy. It was not easy. David was not basically down in a pit. He was not literally down in it, but the condition, the life that he was going through, okay? Whatever he was facing, the difficulties, the struggles were worse to him, or it was equal to a dungeon. It was equal, it was a horrible place. In other words, he was in a horrible place. As far as his relationship and fellowship with YAHUAH was. My brothers and sisters, can you imagine when you're praying? I don't know how that feels because I never got to that point. When you're praying though, and people praying, but they cannot feel that YAHUAH is there. It's like you are alone. You are alone. I've heard people who had the virus that we passed through, the COVID virus. I've heard people who had it and survived it mention how lonely they were while they were going through that treatment and going through, because like nobody can come around them. They have to be by themselves. And I've heard nurses talk about the loneliness the patient feel as they were dying without loved ones around them. Sometimes only the nurses, you know, and sometimes the nurses have to be careful themselves. You know, horribleness, terribleness of it. Okay. So, and I would imagine this was something like, you know, that kind of experience is like what David is talking about there. You know, a horrible pit, a dungeon, you know, a well. You're down in there like you can't get out. And my brothers and sisters, and this is what happened. This is why we need to live a life that is really fitting, a life that YAHUAH is satisfied with. So we don't have to go into that loneliness when, you know, because my brothers and sisters, what sin does is strip you, leave you half dead, leave you worthless. So it's good to live our lives so that YAHUAH is glorified in our lives, you know. But this is what sin does, is strip us of everything. It strips you of your dignity. Some people are sinful and they act like they, you know, they're glorifying it. Like some of these politicians, you know, they sin, they're guilty, but they glorify it, and people would just, you know, glad to have them around them and help to glorify them. And some of the church people, instead of telling the people that, look, your life is worthless and you need to change your life, you know, they're joining with them too. My brothers and sisters, sin leave you worthless and half dead. Make you, it don't matter how you rich and how millionaire you are, if you're sinful, you're sinful. And money not going to cleanse you from your sin, my brothers and sisters. It's a relationship. Only YAHUAH, the blood of YAHUAH can cleanse you when you're in that kind of condition. So here we see that the dungeon, the cistern, the pit, that's what he's talking about. You know. And then listen what he said. Not only that, you know, he brought me up out of a horrible pit, but listen what he said. He brought him out of the miry clay. Miry. You know, miry, something. Yaven. The word Yaven here, the Hebrew word Yaven. Yaven is a mire. Mire. Yaven. It is Yod, Vav, and Nun. Yaven. It's mire, my brothers and sisters. And those of you who don't know what a mire is, it's like you step and you're sinking. No foundation on it. You step down there, it's a clay, like a clay hole, like a pan, but it's all mire. And you get in there, you can't get out unless somebody come grab you out, pull you out fast. Okay? Something horrible. It's a pit, it's mire. You down there, at least in the pit, you can survive if the water is not to your neck. And if the water is high, and you can float in it, as long as you have the power and the strength to float, you're still alive. But my friends, this mire, this clay, You're going down. You're going down. You're in it, you're going down. Mire, it is mire. That's what it said here. The same word come from yahin, and it's probably to dregs. It's like a dregs. You know. So, some people refer to the term as effacing. Effacing. Something you in it, but you're going down, and you're going down. It's a mud. Sometimes people refer to it as a banquet, or, you know, a wine bibber. You know, a wine bibber. But it's an unusual root, meaning Ephes, you know, effersage, you know, something I don't do to word there, you know, and then guess what? It has a kind of a connotation of something fermented. It's like when they do the wine through the grape, right? It's it leaves the hard part of it, the drag, right? And in that, it has a lot of the implication of intoxication. When you drink it, you intoxicate it. And then you become like a drunkard. And we refer to you as a wine bibber. You know, you like that strong stuff. You get used to that strong stuff. And you're in it, and you can't get out of it. And in order to get out of it, you have to go to some of those alcoholic anonymous place, some place where they can, you know, treat you. Okay? Have you ever seen people who drink? They're drinking and the thing is horrible. And when they drink it, they make the face up. And my brother and sisters, after a while, the face is like the face is formed into a condition where every time you see them, it look like, even when they're smiling with you, it's like the face is made of like the deformity. Because they're in a situation where they cannot get out of it. You understand? They cannot get out of it. And so what we got to do, my brothers and sisters, we got to understand this. We got to realize how horrible this thing is when we find ourselves into a situation where we ourselves cannot get out of it. We have to trust Yahuwah. Yeah, David could not get out of it, the condition that he was in. Okay? And he's using these elements of, you know, to describe the feeling that he had, to describe the situation that he was in, that he got into it because of sin in his life. And he could not get out of it. So he's telling you now that he cried out to Yahuwah as a great example to show us that we need to cry out to Yahuwah, and he will alone. He alone, Yahuwah alone can help us. Yahuwah alone can get us out of it. And he said, and he set my feet upon a rock. He set my feet upon a rock. And guess what? After I set my feet upon a rock, that means he take me out of it. And he set me on a rock. Now the rock is firm. It's safer. But listen what he said here. He didn't just leave him on the rock. They set him out of, take him out of the miry clay, out of the pit and the mire, and set him on the rock. Now he said, he established my going. The word establish here is the word kun. To be firm. To establish means to be firm. Praise be to his holy name. Praise be to his holy name. He established my going. And my brothers and sisters, this is what YAHUAH wants us to do. Trust him and give him everything. And he can establish our going. Praise be to his holy name. The word kun here is to be firm. It is ket. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is ket, vav, and nun. You know, ket, vav, and nun. Kun. And you know, it certainly is like to confirm or direct. To establishment here. It's about being faithful. YAHUAH is faithful, and he establishes it like a fashion it out for you. He fasten you. He make you firm. Like it be fitted for you. Primitive root. To be erect. Or to stand perpendicular. You know. Hence, he set you up. And the word is used in such a great variety of application. Because what he's saying here is that he established you. He fixed you. He prepared you. You know, he appoints you. He render you sure, my brothers and my sisters. Praise be to his holy name. And you know what? He make it proper for you, and he make you prosperous. He confirm for you, my brothers and sisters. He make you direct. Faithfulness. YAHUAH is faithful, my brothers and my sisters. He is faithful, and he can fasten us, he can firm us, he can fit us, he can fix us, he frame us in a way, my brothers and my sisters. He ordain us, he order our step. He made it perfect for us. Praise his holy name. My brothers and my sisters, and this kind of preparation that he made for us, you know, he prepare us and he provide for us. You know, he make provision for us. Praise his holy name. And everything, he made everything ready. He made everything right. He made everything stable. He established us, my brothers and my sisters. We are able to stand. Praise be to his holy name. Remember we talked about a little earlier where he said, I waited patiently. In other words, is to tarry. Is to tarry for him. Praise be to his holy and matchless name. My brothers and my sisters, we're going to ask you, praise his name. We're going to ask you, my brothers and my sisters, to be a blessing to someone today. And walk with the King. Shalom.